news flow coming in with respect to India's ethanol blending program. In fact, it was just flashing for you at the bottom of your screens, where the Supreme Court has now dismissed the plea that challenged the nationwide rollout of 20% ethanol blended petrol. Remember, the petitioner said and argued that the policy will affect vehicles which are not compatible with 20% ethanol blended petrol. But now the Supreme Court has dismissed this particular plea. So big news coming in for the entire ethanol industry. But let's keep it going with the silver sector and the kind of moves that we're seeing in silver market globally. And to discuss whether the momentum will sustain, we are now joined by Peter McGuire, CEO at AustraliaTrading.com. Peter, afternoon, and thanks so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. Sharad was just highlighting the factors that are driving the move in the global silver market, and that hopes are that Federal Reserve will cut interest rates in the meeting that is scheduled to happen in September. If you can tell us if this is the only reason which is driving the up move in silver, and for how long will the momentum sustain?
Well, good afternoon, Ashisha. I think, when you're looking at what's happened over the last, that was very well explained, over the last couple of years, it's been one-way traffic, and that's what's driven it to the price of, a 14-year high as we sit today on Comex. The overall momentum, one needs to look at industrial demand. You're looking at, of course, electronic EV, solar panels, EV, all forms of technology, and of course jewelry demand, and the overall theme coming from the United States under President Trump. The uptick, I think, is going to be a continue, and we've been calling $40 as the more or less the handle to really, if it gets through 40, well, it's currently sitting, I've got Comex sitting at $41.38, and I would now think that $43, $44 has to be the next point, and then let's see if it hits there. But, yes, data centers, PV, you name it, it is in all forms, and there's an investment across that whole silver complex over the last couple of decades.
$43, $44 per ounce, that's the target that you're suggesting as far as silver is concerned. But if you have to contrast this with gold, then will you be more bullish on silver versus gold, say, over the next 6 to 8 odd months?
I think so. From a percentage standpoint, I'd be erring on that from my own personal view. And I think the reasoning is that gold's had a tremendous run up, as we know, and I think silver is lagging to some extent as far as that gold-silver ratio. And I think gold will have a run. I mean, if you're looking at gold Comex now, it's up 0.74%. I'm showing that at around about 35.42 on Comex. Now, that's the December 2025 contract for all the viewers out there. So it's up $24. The overall picture, I think, is going to be stronger gold leading into Q4 and certainly over the Q4 window into Christmas, and silver to probably be ahead of it from a percentage point play. So, yeah, US dollar, what's happening as far as Fed policy, tariffs. There's a lot of global themes that are really starting to gain momentum. And I think further softness across the US dollar could be very much a part of the play.
Okay, and Peter, since you're with us, if you can tell us the kind of impact we will see on the commodity market, especially because of the additional tariffs that have been levied by US President Donald Trump. Any kind of impact that is likely, that these tariffs are likely to have on global commodity trade flows across countries?
I think there'll be certainly consideration, and that would be, all forms of commodity. If we first off look at the oil market, there is no doubt that from the lens that I look through, there will be a glut in the market. We've been calling this since probably April, May, as far as a glut to appear come the end of the Q3, and we're at the start of the last month of Q3 today. So I think over the next month or two, this is going to really start to ratchet up. So crude prices lower. You've got, if you're looking at industrial metals, I've got copper now sitting nearly at $10,000 a metric ton. I wouldn't be surprised for that to continue uptick. And you've got to look at some of those other industrial metals as well, the likes of zinc, aluminium, tin. So, and keep an eye on iron ore, of course. So the whole complex, I think, will probably have a little bit of a leg up into Christmas.
Understood. Peter, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us understand what the outlook is for the precious metal market going forward and what are the factors that will drive the next leg up move for silver as well. Thanks so much for joining us.